Hello, could do a video today for some drawing styles. So setting up, this is a kind of out of the box setup. So what I've done is I've gone back in here into my advanced steel. Now I'm on 2022 still. Just started in 2023. So what I've done is I've put back on the fresh install in here. So what I'll do is let me go in not this one, this one here. Let's go to shared, support, prototypes. So if I come in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some of these here. So let me take this one here and let me do sing up an assembly C. Assembly C, and let's do a single part B. Let's copy those and let's go back in here into our USA folder, shared, support, prototypes. We have some of these in here already. So I had made some changes. It's A and C ADM. Alright, so I have that in there. Alright, so basically it's pretty close to a fresh install. You can see up here I don't have any of my drawing styles in here. These are all the out of box. So this is going to be a kind of a long video for somebody setting up from the beginning. So I'm not going to get into all the little changes in the defaults right now. What I'm going to do is just for output and drawings. So I have renamed this file. Let me double click here. All right. So I'm just going to work on this area. So first of all, we should work on a beam first, I guess. So what I need to do is I need to set up a drawing style. So what I want to do is go to output, come into my drawing styles, and let me see what I have in here. I haven't checked this. Alright, so you can see I don't have any of my own ones. So what I'm going to do first is 5 beam. So here's a beam 1. So we're going to create a new one. So let's click on this and then copy. And I'm just going to name this ADM. Okay. Alright, so now we have a new one here. Now these ones here are the same as these ones. So if you change anything inside this, it's going to change what's in here. So each one of these steps, you need to create a new one. So I'm going to do the same thing. ADM. Top, create a new one. Now I could put the ADM in front of these also. I'll just put them after it for now. It can be good to put it in the front because then you have all your stuff in the one area because it'll begin with the A, right? So I won't worry about that for now, but maybe better to put your name at the front. ADM, okay. Alright, so the end plates from the outside, we'll do them all. So let's change them all. ADM. Alright, so basically you're creating your own one of each of these. So if I edit inside them, you're not going to edit one that's in a different drawing style. So let's do ADM. Okay, alright, so we've changed all of those. So first level, second level, and there is also a third level object presentation, which I am also going to change. And then if we go to the next one, there's different ways to scroll your way through this, but ADM, okay. Object presentation. Top and bottom, right? So you can see top and bottom. This one was top and bottom also. So they're both the same. So I can just come in here and change this to the one I just created. Top and bottom ADM. Then we'll go down to the end plates and we'll create a new one for the end plates. So this video is going to be long, but hopefully it helps you out. I think probably most people have issues with outputting their drawings, you know, and save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of time redoing or moving labels and stuff, and after you output your drawings. ADM, okay. Alright, so now we've created our new drawing style here. And it's also got its own object presentations, you can see here. So ADM, alright. So that's good. Model box front, you can see, alright, those things are okay. So that's going to be my beam drawing. So what's going to happen now is if we want to output a beam drawing, let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. If you click here on assemblies, you can see these ones are all available. So I don't need these all available. Whichever ones you don't want to be available, you can turn them off. So what I'm going to do is my beam one is on, C and U bracing, turnbuckle bracing, tube, plate assembly, I can leave that on, grading assembly, purlin. Anyway, you can turn these off here, whatever ones you don't want, right? So ADM beam, beam with environment, clip angle, alright. So apply. I clicked use there, which is fine. So if I come back in here, you can see I have to go in here to my assemblies. You can see it is not available yet because I have not shut this down. So what I'll do is let me create the railing one first. So I'm going to go to assemblies, right? So I've created that one. Let's go to stairs and railings. And railing main part is handrail. So click on that, copy that. So I'm going to just do the one for the beam and one for the railing. ADM, okay. Do the same thing down here then, come down. This now is the same as this one, so we want to create a new one. So this is going to be for the front, ADM, okay, whatever obviously you want to call yours. And do the same here, ADM. And then come back in, object presentation, railing, I'm going to create a new one. ADM, okay, and the next one. And we'll change that to railing ADM. Okay, so it was using the same drawing object presentation for both of them, so I just switched it. So now we also have that, so I'm going to apply that. So now we have our own handrail. Click here, just double check. This is going to be available in my tool palette once I shut down. The important thing is you need to close these. You need to close these down and then restart. Alright, so I have created one for the handrail and I've created one for here, and maybe I should do one for the column also. So let's go in and do one for the column also. So assemblies, and we have column here. So let's create a new one for the column. And ADM, okay, so basically just go through the same process again, right? So same process, and obviously if you don't want to see this because you've just seen it twice, you can skip forward, but let me keep going. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create the three of these. We're going to see about outputting and then see what we have to change to get these outputting the way we want them to output. And then you can see in an hour or two, you can really clean up your system. So just need to put the time in. So ADM, okay. All right, so we got to go back again, go to object presentation, create a new one, column front, ADM, okay. And back in here. So I'm doing a lot here, and it's not even taking, I know it probably seems like it's taking a long time, but right here you've now created a drawing style for your columns, your beams, and your handrails. Now it's the exact same right now as the original ones out of the box, but now you can edit these without messing up your system. Top and bottom, I can't do that again because it's already available, so I'm just going to change it. End plates, object presentation. See, we have 5 end plates. So the end plates are the same for the column as they are for the beam. So end plates ADM is all I have to do there, and then object presentation for the column section, because it's column section, not just beam section. We're going to create the new one there also. Alright, so now we also have that drawn style. Oh, this is column and beam, right? So it's already there. Column and beam. Alright, apply. Alright, and then you want to go back here and just double check that your columns are available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off some more of these, the column one, and I'll turn off the beam one, beam with environment. Alright, apply. Alright, so now they're all closed, or they're all available. So they're not available right yet. Now let me show you one other thing. So this can be switched from a flag from user to advanced. So let's go back in here. If you go back in here and go to your drawing, this is drawing styles, that's my drawing process, sorry. The drawing styles, if you turn off, if you go to advanced, and if you come in here and turn all these off, so go here and turn all these off, it will not give you the option for the advanced settings, but you need to turn all these off. And we'll just shut down and we'll restart, and you can see you're kind of getting closer to where you want to be. So let me turn these off. I won't do it for the other ones. You can do the same for the other two palettes and the ladders. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to shut down. Oh, I shouldn't have shut down, sorry. I needed to close the pallets first. So let me open it up again, and I'll shut down with the pallets. Yeah, I'll just do it. I'm not going to worry about the video being too long because it's going to be long anyway. Sorry. So I'm just going to open this again. There's my pallets. You can see nothing has changed. You can see flag, 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 close, close, close. And then I'll shut down, yes, and then we'll restart it. Alright, so we start it up again. So now we've created our drawing styles for our columns, our beams, and our handrails. Now we need to have a look at the drawing process. Alright, so let's open this up. You can see my top rail has, that shouldn't have happened. So what's happened here, just so you know, because I've reset it. So this top rail is, I have added a section, or I've added a type. So let's just go in here and I'll show you. So if I come in here and I go to standard pipe, sorry you can't see that. And if I come down here, the top one was 1.5 inch standard. That is the top one. The middle one is actually, this is the way they like to do them. The middle one is actually 1.25 inch standard. So let me do it right now actually. So I have these in as 1.5 inch schedule 40 and 1.5 inch schedule 1.25 inch schedule 40. So what I'll do is let's go in and we'll just do that now so we don't have to go back and do it. So let's go into our management tools and let's go to our table editor. Let's load up our tables and go to our profiles and AISC, pipe standard. So what I do is I'll just come in here and I'll copy this one here and this one. So copy this and let's scroll back, 1.5 inch schedule 40. Pipe 1.5 inch schedule 40. So that's the schedule 40 one, and then I'm going to go to the standard 1.25 inch. Load that in there, scroll back, come back in here, schedule 40. And I've done, I'll add other ones, not just these ones. I have done it with the schedule 80 also for the strong, the extra strong. Alright, so those two are added. So they are now in the database. So just come back in here, reload, come back in here, click on this, come back in here, and we can see we have a schedule 40 pipe. That is not working for some reason. Right, so there's something broken with the schedule 41. So let me have a look at it now. Whatever I did wrong, I did something wrong. Profiles, pipe standard. 1.5 inch schedule 40. I don't know why it's not working. It should be working. Anyway, let's just go back. It doesn't really matter. So what I'll it's got to be some reason because the other one is working. I just basically did the same thing. So let me. So what we'll do is we'll just leave the top one because I'm not going to get into that. It's going to drag it out. So what I'll do is all right. So let's click on this and make this. It should have standard, and we'll make this bottom one 1.25 standard. All right, and then what we can do is I'm not gonna. Let me just do. I won't do them all because I only need to do one rail really. So what I'll do is so I'll just do these, and they're a different color, so I would need to switch them back. All right, so what I do then is I like to have these as the same color, so just so we know where the splices are. So I'll change this back to layer color by layer. There you go. All right, so, and I'll just switch these ones, and then we'll just worry about our first couple of these. All right, so let me save that. All right, so now let's go back here to our home tab and open our drawing style, our drawing process, our bill of material. So now we can see our drawing style is not giving us the option for the flag and the user because it is only user available. So we can do the same with the drawing process and the templates, but I just don't want to waste the time on it. So what I'm going to do is come in here, turn it on to user, and if I go to, sorry, if I come down here, there's beam ADM, column ADM. So obviously if I had them named ADM column, it would be at the top, which is probably what I should do. So I can go back in and rename them if I want. All right, so for now, so now the problem is the process, right? So let's say we want to just do this beam. So this beam here, we want to put it on a drawing. So let's go in here and we find a drawing process. So we want to have selected assemblies. So there's a lot of options in here, right? So selected assemblies each on an ANSI B, selected assemblies each on an ANSI C. So I'll probably put these on an ANSI C. So selected assemblies each ANSI C. I'm going to click on that, okay, and let's see what we get here. Oh, I know what I've done. I've opened the wrong drawing. Yeah, so give me a second. Sorry. Yeah, I've opened the wrong drawing, so do not save that. So I've made some changes there I shouldn't have made. This is the one I should have opened. This is the one for this project. All right, so here we are. Sorry, that was my actual model. This is, as you can see, I have a YT for YouTube there. All right, so let's go back in here. Drawing process. All right. So let's select this beam again, and then we're going to go back in here and we're going to do select assembly each ANSI C. Okay. And that is going to output that because it is not already output because this is the one I was supposed to be working in. So let me minimize this a little bit just so we can see. All right. So now let's select this and show assembly detail. Now we can see that that isn't terrible, but it's not great, right? So both sides. Yeah, just looking at, sorry. So you can see it's giving me some dimensions here. So you don't need some of them. So basically for now, what you're going to do is, you can see all this names. All right. I'm just checking it out. So this is on, if we click on this, we can see this is using the 5 beam drawing, and it's on an ANSI C. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to put this on a better sheet than this, right? So we want to create a new drawing process. So if we come back and close this, all right, so let's close that. Let's go back into our document manager and let's delete this. All right, so we've deleted that. So this is the drawing process we used. So now we want to create a new drawing process. So the drawing process basically directs the software what to do when you click on it, right? So if I'm doing selected assemblies, and this was the one I picked, selected assemblies, beam each, no, selected assemblies each ANSI C, it was this one. So if I come back in here, we can see all these other ones are turned off, right? So I want to go into this one and I want to create a new one. So I want to copy it. And this time I'll actually put the ADM in front of it. I won't. I'm not sure. I'm going to put it behind it still. ADM next. All right. So I've created a new one here. So over here we have a new step. So the main step is this. Is same name basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create this with ADM after it. Okay. So let's just double check that that's using the one with ADM. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to apply that. So now, okay. So selected main part. Okay. Ascending. File name selector, right? So what we're going to do here is, let's just do okay. And let's come in here to our prototypes. We want to put this on our ANSI C drawing, right? So assembly, this one here. Basically, it's the same name with underscore ADM. So let's copy that. And then let's cancel out of that. And then go back into your drawing style. And let's come back in here. And I want to create a new one of these. per assembly ADM. Okay, and then I want to come in here, and it's going to just basically have underscore ADM after it. Advanced steel prototype. Yeah. All right. Now down here, the detailed style map. This is directing where they're going to go. So if I have a column, it's going to go to 5 column. So I want to change some of these. So first of all, I want to create a new one. So I'm going to create a new one. And type of drawing style assembly. And then I'm going to change this to column ADM. And railing handrail here. Railing handrail ADM. So it's going to direct it to that drawing style. And then the beam should be down there at the bottom. Yeah, there. And then we'll do the beam ADM. Okay, apply. Okay. All right, so now I've created this new drawing style. Now or drawing process. Now what I find with this is I need to go back in and check it. It doesn't always change everything. All right, so that's good. Check here, per assembly ADM, that is good. So let's go in and check. The name is good. Okay, okay, and this is good. Apply. Okay, now you can use it from there. What else you can do is you can just shut these down. Save that. Close that out. Restart advanced steel. And now that drawing process should be available in your palette also. No, it's not that one. I don't want to open the wrong one again. It's actually this one down here. So this one. Okay. All right. So we're good to go. So now we have this beam. And let's open these again. So we're going to do drawing style, drawing process, build material. Okay. So drawing process. Selected assemblies. Let's see what we have here. Selected assemblies, each NCC. All right, so hold on. I've done something messed up there. So let's go back here to output tab. Wondering if I did it by accident in the advanced. Assembly selected. It's there. So let's just see. Selected assemblies, each NCC. Alright, so it should be available. I just didn't see it, I guess. Oh, sorry, I'm still in. I forgot to change that up there, sorry. So selected assemblies, there it is there. Alright, so now we're going to see what happens if we put this beam. So that's the old one, and this is the new one. So what I'm going to do is, I should really allow duplicate drawings. I won't. Let's just, we'll attempt to use this and see what happens. So this is going to put this beam on the drawing using the new drawing process. So if I go, we can see it is on a different drawing. Now this is not the one I'm using now, this is an old one, but you can see it's not the out of box one. And in order to edit them, I'll go in and edit it in a second, but if you want to change the text or anything here, so the best way to make changes then is to come in here. The scale is not available here. I do like to have the scale in the title block, so what we'll do is we'll go into the drawing process, which is what we use for this, and let's come in here, assemblies, 5 beam, and then we're going to go to detail title, and I'm going to change that to Flux Architect. I'll leave the number in the middle the same. There's a grid reference there, and then I'm going to put in the scale. Apply. And let's just check the few properties. This 1.5" is the one, which is okay. Use. Alright, so that's kind of skewed us, right? Because it automatically had. So that looks like it came in as 1.5", maybe. Or 1 is to. Yeah. Alright. So basically then you can change the labels, whatever you want, change your dimensions through that drawing style. So let's just see. That's 7. I'm just curious because you know, when I set mine up was a couple of years ago, and now the drawing styles are definitely out of the box a little different, even though this is a couple of years ago also. So you can see it's not giving me the label for this. If you want to put in the label for that one manually, just go to insert label, and you can see it's picking the whole, so I picked the whole there by accident. Also, if you want to change the text, so if I come in here, go to management tools, default, text, drawing presentation, labels, can't even remember, it's been so long. Sure, I don't want to do short text, do I? Long text. Should be text. Here, font name, text used for details. So I'm just clicking on this button then to update those, and then click on this, and then if I go to output, let me just see. So I guess, let me check this. I think I've spelled it wrong, have I? Yeah, I forgot the S. Alright, so that's what messed that up. Alright, so go back in, home, management tools, defaults, table editor, defaults, sorry. Hard to remember all these. Alright, and see the labels have all changed, alright? Alright, so you can trick around with that then. I have other videos there showing you how to trick around with those. I guess we'll just do the prototype if you want to edit your prototype. So let's say you want to edit this prototype. Not that one, sorry. This one here, right? Open it. What you want to do first is save it, right? So also come in here, delete your own prototype change. Yes, you want that to delete if you change the prototype, and you want that to delete if you change the prototype. This one here, you want to come in here and block editor. This is how I do it. You can also explode the block if you want. You can delete this, change this to something else. So, you know, let's say I just delete that. I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to take a screenshot or a snipping. Come back over here, zoom out, Control V. You can see I've just copied the Google logo is all I did off the browser next to me here. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to move, so you're better off to use the move command. So I don't insert an image. Now if you come in here and go to properties, you can see it also allows you to lock the aspect ratio if you just copy it in, so you can make that whatever way you want. These are available online. These are your tokens. So you can change all these tokens. So all these black ones are just text. So you can draw in lines wherever you want here. If you want to draw a line in here and you want to copy this over here, you can copy that stuff up here, and then you could change this to scale. Keep in mind the black again is just text. So change that to scale, and then you come in here and actually the token for scale is just scale in capitals. Okay. Close block editor, yes, and the important thing you want to do is at sync. At sync, select the block, yes. Now, first of all, I should have saved this as something different, so it doesn't save over the one I already have. And I'll just call it Google, and then I'll delete it later on. You can go in and change these. There's different types of templates for what you want. Alright, so let's close that. If you want to change the prototype, then if you have this prototype here, and now I like to have it, this is too almost square, so this is not the title block I use now. It's lower and it goes across the whole page, so it works a little bit better for me. So what I want to do, if I want to change that, then just go to labels, dimensions, come over here to this little folder and select the Google one. Okay, and you can see it has changed that prototype into the one I just created, and it also has the scale there. Okay, so obviously some of these things need to be resized. These labels are okay for now. You can, the one thing I do like to do is sometimes clients don't understand, they don't always understand that this is the bottom of the beam. We are working on third angle projection. So what can be useful for them, or for me, so that they can't blame me, is if you go back into the drawing style, and I'm not going to get into weeds too deep with this, but if you go front view, right, and let's go to the top view. So this one is for the top and the other one is for the bottom. So they both are using the same one right now, but I want to label them. So let me show you. So if I go to the main part beam in the top and bottom presentation, don't need the median line on either, I don't think. So the main part beam, what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to change this to just visible. Now this has been used in the other one, that's why it's warning me. So what I can do actually is, if I make a change in here, so main part beam, let me go into it, sorry, let me go in here, and what I'm going to do is label is off, I don't want it to be off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to beams, and this is saying section name. Okay, so I've changed it to section name, but I don't want it to be the section name, I want it to be front view. Top view, sorry. Top view, bottom view. Top view. Okay. Okay. And arrange according to compass. We can do that. We cannot do that. Section name, I'm going to change this also to top view. And then I'm just going to put in text here of top view. Apply, use. Now the problem is I have the same object presentation for both of these. So you can see we have now a top view and we have a top view. So they're not both top views. So what you want to do is you want to go back in. So this is just the kind of quick way of doing these things. So what I want to do is I want to go back a level. So go back to object presentation and I want to rename this. So let's go in here and I'm actually going to rename this the top view. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bottom. So that is the bottom, sorry. So if you go back here and you go to, that's the top one. So I'm going to go back to the bottom one so you can see the bottom. I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to create a new one and I'm going to call this one the bottom. It seems a little confusing, right? But it's not really confusing. It's pretty self-explanatory after a while. So being bottom view, so then I want to go back into my main part beam and my label and I want to create a new one here and I want to create this new one as bottom beam or bottom view. Bottom view, and then I want to create a new one here called bottom view. Now these steps seem like they take a little bit of time, but just keep in mind you don't have to do them again afterwards. This is it. Bottom view, apply, use. Okay. So now the bottom view is the bottom view and the top view is the top view. So the other thing is I don't want all these. So this one you can see seems to be a median line and this one seems to be a system line, right? And this one seems to be a median line because if it was the system line it would be all the way out, right? So let's have a look at that. And object presentation. Let's go back to the beam and the front view. If we go into the front view object presentation, we can see the main part beam, which is the numbered beam, is visible hidden system helper line. The helper line, don't really need the helper line. The helper line, just if you have a cut on the end, it'll kind of give you an idea of where the cut is. So for now what I can do is just change this to visible. And that will turn off that red line, which I don't need. Or it should have turned off the red line, but I have obviously changed the wrong thing. Main part beam. So that is the main part beam, polybeam, curve beam. So let's go to the other one first and then we'll go back. So, because I'm jumping over and back. So let's go to the top view, object presentation. We can see that this top view was this beam. So if we go to just visible hidden, not the median or system line. No, that hasn't disappeared either. So let me see there. Beam ADM. That's unusual. I'm a little stumped myself now because visible hidden. Yeah, because the top view label is coming in. Let me just save this and shut down. Let me go in to my management tools. Sometimes there's a bit of a glitch, so let me just do something. Drawing general. Allow duplicate workshop drawings. Just while I'm messing around here, I'll allow duplicate workshop drawings. So that will allow me to output this again. And now if I click on it, it'll give me two options. I want to pick the second one. You can see that those lines have gone. See, they've gone, but they didn't disappear when I update it. They should disappear when you update the way I did. I don't know why they didn't. It's just a glitch sometimes. So top view, bottom view. Also, they're coming in right on top. You don't want them coming in on top. So let's just see if now I've manually moved them. They might not move. All right, so let's go back in and go to top view, object presentation, or let's go top view. Object presentation, main part beam, double click, and top view based on area, top or bottom. I would want to put that on the bottom. And then let's go to the bottom one. Yeah, so it hasn't moved that. So I won't get into that too much. Sorry, just dropped the mic over. So this one here is a connected members one. Some of these you're going to want to get rid of if you don't want these. This one here, I actually had moved to the bottom of mine, but most of the clients don't want it. It's just a waste of time. So basically, the labels aren't too bad. I'm not going to get into dimension style. What we'll do is we'll have a look at handrail. So if I select this handrail, so first of all, just check which is the main part. You can see the top is the main part, so that's fine. So now I'm going to select that, and I'm going to pick this one first, which is the outer box. So let's see what that has output us. So that's what that's given us. And if we double click on this, we can see that it's using railing main part as handrail. Okay. So the scale is 1:1. The clipping is in the X direction 1. So if we go back to the drawing processes, and if you go look for that one, so we can see it's this one here. And if we click on the front view, you can see it's 1:1, clipping is 1, and the X direction. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to R1 and we'll make a difference. So we'll go in here and view properties. We'll change this as to 1:1. Change this as 1:1. And then the clipping properties is off. We'll turn that off. And then the clipping properties off. Apply. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we'll go back into the model. We'll select this again, and now we'll use our drawing style. This one, selected assemblies each and see. Okay. Show assembly detail. The second one, and you can see it's totally different, and it's on a different sheet. So this one is a bigger scale, but chopped down. This one is not going to fit on the sheet almost, but just about. So you can see these labels are okay. Now, if you plot this out, I don't know if that's how you want it to look. Maybe you want to turn off some of them system lines, but you kind of need the system lines in order for these dimensions to come in automatically. So it can be tricky which way to do it. You can see we've got some extra dimension labels in there, but as a rule you're pretty good. This is controlling, these are all controlled by the same label. You can see the top one is here, that's the main part. So what we can do is, let's have a look at that. just to give you a quick idea of how you can change these. So I want to go into my front view. So railing, front view, object presentation. So main part beam, this one here, visible hidden system. So it's giving me the system line and it's giving me the hidden line. Maybe you want all those. If you don't want all those, you can just turn them off. So let's just go to visible. You're about to modify the object presentation. Now, is that one being used with my other one? Let's change it and see. So let's come in here. No, it's just using it in the front and the top. So let's just see. Yeah, it's using it in the front and the top. So that's fine. I let the warning come up. I don't turn it off because I like to be aware. So this is the mark with leader. So what I'm going to do is check out this label. Maybe I just want to change it to mark. No leader line, mark, and that's it here. And that's so let me create another one just so we'll see. So I'll do copy of that and I'll make mark model role. Mark a model role, okay, okay. And then obviously I have to change this one to mark model role. And then in here you have the mark and then you have the model role. Apply use. You can see it has turned off that and it has come in as 3R1 railing handrail landing. But I don't want that, right? So I can get rid of that. So what I'll do is I'll go back in. And now that I've created my own one, I can just do whatever I want. So I'm gonna go back actually and I'll do mark and then I'll create a new one. Mark, and I'll call this mark 18. Mark 18 ADM. And let's put the inches in there. Okay. Now I've changed that inside this one. I don't want to do that, right? So I want to go back to mark model role. What have I done here? Hole type. I don't want hole type there. Sorry, I've changed that. So just be careful when you're in here, but it doesn't really matter. You'll come across a mistake if you've made it. Okay, that's the mark model role. I want to go back to the mark. Okay, and I want to create the new one. Mark 18 ADM. Okay, okay, and then I'm gonna change this one in here. To mark 18 ADM, and then I'm gonna make this is already 18, so I should have made it a bigger size. So I'll go back in and fix it in a second, but let's make it a quarter, and we'll just say guardrail. So you could add just text in here if you want. So yeah, you can just add text now, apply, use. I'm going to go back in and change that because it's obviously not labeled correctly, but you can do something like that, right? So you can have it coming in as guardrail 3R1, or you know, maybe you would want to have something on that, apply, use. So you can do the same thing with everything else, right? So I kind of wanted to go through the guardrail more because I was fixing this up today myself anyway. So these are posts in here. So all these right now are controlled with the same label. So let me just go back in and have a look at the label that's being used for that. Object present, right? So you're going to have attached beams, this one here. So this is probably the one that's being used. So visible hidden system. So if I just change this, I'm going to change it back, but let's just change this to visible. Apply, use, and it'll probably get rid of all those. So what happens is when you get rid of all the system lines, the system doesn't have anything to snap to any longer. So now you don't get your automatic dimensions. So you probably want your system lines in. So just jump back in and put your system lines back in. It can look a little crappy when you plot out sometimes, but so the attached beams, let's go back to, no, I don't know if you need to do that. You could just do, just thinking, if I just do visible system, attach beams, visible system, so it's hard to tell, but you're going to know it's pipe, right? So maybe leave that turned off, and then you're not getting your distance here, and it's probably going to look a bit funny if you don't put that in. So go back and change your guardrail one. So your main part beam, this one. Now we had to go back in and fix this, right? Because this one should be mark 1/8 ADM, and I have it a quarter. So we can delete the guardrail part, and I'll just change this back to 1/8, and now you need to click in here, apply, and main part beams all. I want it to be visible system, right? Now let's try visible visible median and see. Visible hidden median. Let's just see what visible median is. So it'll also bring in the line. So the median line, I don't think it'll extend out if your systems are extended out. So this is a median line. Now if you double click on it, you can see the median line is on. And if you click on this one, you can see the system line is on. So now this, you can see, is messed up. So we want to fix that. So go back in here. And let's change this to the system line. Okay. And the label is what we want to fix. So the labels got screwed up because there's a space in there, and the space, that space was a 1/4 text height, whereas we wanted to be 1/8. So 1/8. So be careful. Make sure you grab all the spaces and everything when you're resizing. And let's put that frame. Oh, alright, so there's your main part number. The rest of these have labels. So what you can do now is let's just work on separating some of these. Maybe you want to separate these because these are all the same right now. So what you can do is come in here, and if I go back to the object presentation and attach beams, let's go into the label. So it's a mark with a leader line, which is what they have. So if I just change that to mark, right, gets rid of the leader line. And so P, the plate one is P, so P1002. That's unusual why it's down there. It's for that plate there. Alright. So basically you've changed it now, and that's a capital. That shouldn't be a capital there. That's unusual. So let me go back and switch that back to mark with leader. Position. R1000. That numbering is not right. That prefix should be a small r. I don't know why it's a large r. That's unusual. So I don't know why that's an R. So railing, knee rail, landing. So if I go up to my prefix settings, railing, knee rail, landing. For beams. Thinking, I don't know why it's. See, these are all M's. Now I have, you know what it is? Because I numbered this, sorry, before I went back. I'm confusing myself. But I don't know why. It shouldn't have a capital R. It should have a small r. Like these ones. Now, did it have a small r? No, it always had a capital. Alright. I'll have to look into that. That's something that's wrong in my system. I don't want that to have a capital R. So, the way you could change it on the fly is, I think, let's see if this will work. We'll select all these and change the prefix to R. And now if I select everything. I would probably have to delete that. See, the part mark now has changed to 3M because I had these changed in my system to R's and now they're M's. So we can see R is one old part mark. So you see it's changed all of these to change them, and then when I number them, I change them back. These two here. So we'll just see. Well, it's kind of I'm confusing my own system here. Sorry, because I numbered in one system and then I reset everything. You can see now it's changed to R002. These have changed to M because the numbering in this system was an M, and I switched it a couple of years ago to be R's in mine. So that's kind of making it a little more confusing for you, I'm sure. But what you'll need to do here is create different different listings, let's say. So if you want to go into your object presentation for the handrail front, so what we want to do is we want to create another one for attached beams, right? So basically click on this one, create a new one. Okay, and it's down here on the bottom. So what we're going to do now is go in here, attach beams, open this, attach beams, all model roles. I want to create a new one, and I want to have it I actually want to change this to parts with model roles. And not main parts, so I just want parts with model roles. So parts with model roles. Let's just pick any of these and create a new one. Railing, knee rail. Railing, knee rail, parts with model roles. That's okay. Okay. And I want it to be beams. Well, we can have it as attached beams, right? Like we had before. Attached parts. Railing, knee rail, landing. So we can have railing, knee rail, landing, and then railing, knee rail, railing, knee rail. Apply. Okay, so that's created that one. And if we go back into our object presentation, we can see that's here at the bottom. So we want to move that up somewhere. If it's one of our own ones, let's just move it up. Don't ask me anymore because it'll ask you every time you press up. So you want to go up past your attached beams, because if you leave it below it, this one will still control it. So I'll show you what I mean. If I change this to part mark on the knee rail, and if I change the knee rail to just visible, you can see it has changed this to just visible, and it has got rid of the label. Alright, so now we have our own control for this. So next you will want to control the posts, right? So if we go back in and check the posts, what is the model railing post landing? So you want to basically do the same thing again. So go back in here, go to your drawing, and now just so you can see how it works, if I move this one back down below this one, attach beams all, this will change back because the first one on the list will control it. So whichever one, they're in order, that's why they're numbered. So this one is below this one, so this one is used first. So if I move this back up, I'll just keep it up here, and then I want to copy this. And what I'm going to copy is going to go into this. I'm going to go in here again, and then I'm going to create a new one, railing post, we'll call it. Okay, and then we'll change this to railing post and railing post landing. Then you can see there's railing post last, so you can have just one label coming in. Okay, and I did not apply that. Did I apply that? I should have clicked apply. Yeah, I didn't click apply. See, it didn't. Oh, railing post. Maybe it did come in. It did work. Alright, so go back and then bring this one up also. Sorry, thinking about a job. I got confused there. All right, so I'm going to change this to visible exact just so you can see the changes, and I'm going to make this as, I'll just pick something different, 45 with leader. Apply, use, and these ones for the post, which are these ones, should now change. Alright, so hold on, our post did not change, right? So I did something wrong. So let's just see where we went wrong. Posts, additional parts. These are just knee rail ones, so this should have worked. Railing posts. We just check it again. Attached part, railing posts. Probably better if I call that attached beams, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. Now it might just get it backed up like it did before. Let's just go back out. And let's select this. Now I've been changing this all along, so it has automatically changed in here. '82, '83. That one. Yeah, so it hasn't worked for some reason. So let's go back in, and you can see also we're missing information here. We don't really have much information here. So let's go back in. First of all, I'll go back to here, and the title is here. And we'll do scale. You kind of always want to have the scale at least in one place. So let's update that with the scale on it. Okay, now we still need to understand why these have not changed. Let me double click on this, naming railing post landing. Alright, so sometimes one of these ones above may be controlling it, but they're not main parts, so it shouldn't be any of these. So let's just see if I move it up. I have a feeling I'm doing something else wrong. Sorry, I want to use it on the drawing I've already created. So there. So that's even weirder, right? Because that's the knee rail. Oh, because I put a knee rail in here. This should be railing post landing. That's where it was getting confused, right? So now the labels are in there, see? Now, I quite like that label actually. So what you want to do now is I don't want to have this exact, right? Because there's too much going on there. So what I'll do is I'll go back in and we want to check our label for this one. So I quite like mark name. You can see there's the degrees it's at, the leader line, mark and name. But it's not coming in with the mark. And the mark is the main part mark. That's why it's not coming in with it. So single part marks, beam. So what I'll do is come in here. I'm going to create a new one. Single part 3 30 seconds, and then I'll create a new one here, single part 3 30 seconds, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make this the single part mark. Part mark and single part mark 3:30 seconds. So I'm going to come in here. I got to make this 3:30 seconds. So double click there, apply. All right. So now I'm going to copy of single part. So I'm going to do single part leader 45. I'll put a dash in there just to make it a little more legible. And then single part. No, I don't need to put leader 45, right? Because this adds the leader 45. So I can cancel that. Leader line, yes. Apply, use. So you can see it's put it in, but I didn't put my 45-degree label. So let's go back in. And I got to put the 45 in here. I got to use it. I also want to go back, railing post all. I don't want it to be exact. I want it to be visible system. So the reason it wasn't working for me a minute ago is because I had landing rail and post. I had a conflict. So now you can see there's my 332nd label. I guess it was minus 45, right? Because I think it's better the other way. Max distance of combining labels. So I won't worry about that for now. Minus 45. So let's go back to the other one just to see, because the other one kind of looked better, right? Only for the number. So basically, you just want to trick around with it for whatever way you want it. So single part, and then we can have you have a single part with just a leader, not at 45. So you can see the 332nds looks quite small, so we'll change that back, but I'm just trying to show you the sizes you can use. And you know, if you're not going to use a label, I would recommend putting it along the object. Single part no layer placed along the object. It's down here, and then you have your positions. You can mess around with your positions. Let me change the size back of that. So I'll just create a new one with single part 1/8. No leader line, just come back in here, make sure that's 1/8. You can mess around with these. You can see where sometimes they don't move them really. See, it's kind of in the same place. So you can see it's on all areas, bottom and then top. Or see that has not updated that. So the area is a tricky one, to be honest with you. I've not had a super amount of luck with it. This one here is kind of annoying me, this plate. I don't know what the issue with that plate is, why it's showing up as coming the whole way down. That is that plate there. I don't know if it's because of the presentation type. I'm going to output one more. Let me go back again, sorry. Let me fix this object presentation. So let me see if I move this back down, what happens. Okay. And then I want to put the system line back on for those knee rails. So you got your system line back on, so then you got your dimensions back. So you have most of your dimensions in there. Generally with these rails, I don't put any welding on it. I just come in and put a couple of weld symbols myself. These weld symbols are even messed up. That's new system weld symbol. I'm not gonna start changing that. But basically now you're gonna have your drawn styles that you can edit as you go. So for the next handrail, now we have this one. Let's say it's close to where we want it. Now we can just go to the next one and the next one. So we'll try one more and see how it turns out. Show assembly detail. And we can see that that one is a little bit closer to what we want, right? Still not happy with it, right? Because this is coming on the center. See the way it did come in on the center? But, I mean, we don't want it on the center, right? So, we go back in here. If we... knee rail. It's not the knee rail, sorry, it's the post, obviously. So the post is coming in on the center. So it can come in bottom or the top. Let's try this one. Now it didn't update it there, but watch when if I output it again, or maybe if I resize it. So let's output it again and see. See the way it's come up above, but it's still not where I want it, right? It's still overlapping here. So maybe if we try arrange beam according to compass, apply, use, it didn't move, right? So let's just see if we alter the scale on it. And now try and use it, maybe when it resizes. No, that didn't work. So let's go back. So sometimes it doesn't update properly on the fly. Let's try and output it again, because we are allowing duplicate drawings. No, still in the same place. So it's not, the compass is not having an effect on the posts. Maybe if I turn off the... Let's not place them along the object, so they should switch to the other way. But now you can't really tell that it's... So now maybe if I center it and put a label on it. See, centering it is putting it right here where we don't want it. So if we try putting a label on it, let's see if we... I should really create another one, so let's create another one. 1.8 with a leader. And then down here, with leader. And then turn on your leader. See, it's still up top, so it's still kind of overlapping. It's not where you want it. So it can be a little tricky with some of these, you know. You don't want to have to manually, sorry, boring myself. You don't want to have to manually move them, right? So if we try based on angle method, let's see, this is the old method. Again, you're going to have the same problem, right? It's not going to update it probably. I have to output it again. So there you go. That's a little better, right? So that's kind of where I probably would like it, right? So that looks okay. This is the only one I kind of have an issue with. So now you can move on and you can be like, okay, pretty happy with this. Not sure about this label, but it will do, right? This obviously dimension line, just going to drag it down. You're going to put this out of the way. And you know what, this is a guard. You could add some more text to this if you want. It's not a lot there. Right, so now basically we can go to the next one. I'll pick this one over here. Let's do this one and see what happens. So as you can see, this is pretty good. Labels look to be pretty okay. I mean, you'd be happy enough, you know, maybe this should be over here, not overlapping this dimension, but not too bad as a rule, right? It's a little long for this sheet. So if your clipping is not already set on, you can set your clipping here, and let's just see. That's too short, so I was going to do 1.5 inches, but maybe 1.25 inches. Uh, 1.25 we'll try. Was this 4 sections, 5 sections? Alright, so you can go probably whatever you like. 1.75. My luck, it'll probably be too long now. Too long. So 1.5 inches. Alright. So you kind of get the idea. That is from a system almost out of the box. And now you already have the capabilities of doing a fairly decent handrail drawing. I'm not going to get into the dimension strategies because I'm still not fully understanding them myself. Now, I can show you, I'm actually going to keep this in mind. I'm going to use this old method for my one because I don't have these labels coming in properly either. So that's good to know. So it's kind of just a bit of trial and error. And your beam drawings. I guess we didn't do the column, did we? So if we want to pick a column here and output, it should come out. What we'll do is we'll do it first with their own one, and then we'll do it with my one. So the first one was 89 and the next one is 90. So select on the column and open 89. You can see it's on the Autodesk sheet. and the column is going this way, and I guess I have too much stuff open. And let's go to 90, and it's going the same way. So let's close some of these out. Let's just have a look at the columns for a minute. Alright, so the column is clearly too short. The scale is not there, so I want to put the scale in. So this is my one, so I'm going to go into it for a second. And beam ADM. Column ADM, sorry. Dreaming here. Alright, column ADM. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put in my scale. So I always want to have the scale in there. Also here I will put in the weight. So you can see the weight, 152.4. You can see this is not how I do mine either. I don't have the part weight like this. I have it as pounds and ounces. So that would need to be changed also. In order to change these, you need to... Yeah, you'll find that in another video on my channel. I'm not going to get into that. See, the column is too short, so go to the clipping in the Y direction of 1.5. Let's try 1.25 maybe. Yeah, I could probably make it a little longer than that, right? 1.75. Obviously it depends on what columns you have. You can see it got longer, so it moved over to avoid hitting the title block. Alright, so something like that. So that's pretty close-ish, right? You got some issues, but nothing major. So let's go back in here. And what scale did this output as? 1.5. Okay, so that was fine. So we're going to go back in here. We're going to go clipping in the Y into the quarter. So that was short clipping. So what we could do is we could create clipping in the Y of ADM. Okay, and the clipping length of, let's call it 2 inches for argument's sake. Then we can go to top ADM, and we want to change that to clipping ADM. And the bottom, we want to change to clipping ADM, and the other ones are fine. Apply. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back, and then we're going to select this column again, and we're going to use mine. And let's see if it comes in with the right clipping. Now, it depends if it fits on the sheet or not, right? Is also the other issue. Alright, so we can see. Alright, well, the scale. So because of the scale, it didn't fit on. So because of my clipping was probably too long, it scaled this back down. So that didn't work. So let's just change my clipping and see if I just make it 1.5 just to check it out. Alright, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, apply, okay. This is the process. It can be a little slow. With the columns, generally, I have them come on short, and I'll just extend them then when they're on the sheet. Yeah, so it looks like it didn't fit again because it's coming in as a 1:1. Whereas this other one came in as 1.5 was to 1. So you're probably going to have to bring it in short and then just extend it in the sheet. Just come in here and just extend your clipping inside in here if you want it to fit on. Because what it's doing is it's using that drawing process. Let me just see what the drawing process is set to before I assume. Yeah, so you can see it's set to alternate scales. So it'll scale it back down. So I don't know. Let me see if it'll force it onto the sheet if I change that scale. So let's go back, select the column. So you can see down here it says use prototype, assembly number, so let's see what happened. So it has kept the same scale, but it got overrode in the clipping department. Alright, so one other thing you might want to do, I guess, I've done it, covered in other videos, but just while I'm on it, I'll just give it 2 minutes. If you want to come in, you probably want to have a drawing style to put your column on a sheet a different way. So what you would do is, if I come in here, you can see view arrangement is this way. So let's just copy this, column horizontal. And then if I come in here, column horizontal, you can see I don't want it perpendicular. Standard, apply. So now what's going to happen is nothing is going to happen. The exact same thing is going to happen unless you come in and create a new drawing style. So what I can have is one just for columns horizontal. Copy this. And I'm going to select it, columns horizontal. I don't need to type all that in, so let's just put column horizontal. Next, and can create a new detail style map in here because the column is going to the wrong one, right? So I need to create a new one. You can call it assemblies, you can call it columns. I'm going to call it columns. So what you can do is you can also get rid of all the other ones. Alright, so you don't need any of the other ones then. But what I would be doing is just picking, I would just pick my columns. So as you can see, maybe let's see. Over here you can see I have my phase 3 columns. I have queries, groups to select them, right? So execute picks all the columns, right? Or highlights them, I should say. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on a drawing using that drawing style that we just created. Now, I can't have it available here until I shut down and open again. So what I'll just do is I've selected that column. Use that. And there you have your column horizontal. Doesn't fit in the page, right? But you're just going to go through that other process, right? The reason it doesn't fit in the page is because in the drawing style, as you can see, I just changed it to horizontal, but I did not change the clipping. So if I go into the front view here, you can see that the clipping is wrong. Now if I change this clipping here, it's going to change the clipping in my other column one. So I also have to change these. So you would have to go through that same process again, which I wasn't going to, but I guess I will because the video is long anyway. So I'm going to do column horizontal front because I'm going to need a different clipping, right? So do the same thing, column horizontal top and column bottom, column horizontal bottom. Alright, so now you have to go back into these view direction model bar. Sorry, go back in here and view properties, clipping. I don't want the Y clipping, right? But I don't want to change it here, so I want to go here to X clipping. And it's only going to be inch and a quarter. It's in the X direction. So I want to change that to clipping ADM. And I'll make it 2.5 clipping. And let me edit that so it's all capitals. And check your other ones, should have changed. Or, no, they shouldn't have changed. Why would they have changed? They shouldn't have changed. I've got to change them. Apply, use, and let's see what happens. It'll clip that down, and then if we go and open this, check the clipping, it's that 2.5 inches I just set. So then you want to go back, pick a different column. Let's just pick this one over here, it's different. And that'll be the end of it. Use that drawing, and let's see. Oh, I used the wrong one, sorry. I have to go back in here, right, because it's not on the... I have to use this one. use that one. Okay. And that is going to be number 96 down here. And you can see it just fits on. So maybe you want to make it 2 inches, not 2.5. So something like that. Okay, you can change your labels the same way we did for the handrails. So on. Alright, now before you finish, I'm just going to close down these drawings. Be careful when you're doing this that you go back into your management tools and your defaults and drawing general and turn off duplicate workshop drawings. Close that, update, and then just double check it. So if I go back here and I try and create this, it'll tell me that it's already detailed, so I don't want extra drawings, so that's good. And that's it. I hope that helped. Look, I didn't plan it out very well, so there were some errors in there, but it gives you an idea of how you can get your labels set up, so when you're doing similar projects, or even out of the box, you can set up your drawing style, your drawing process, and your labels. So hopefully you can save some time moving forward. All right, thank you, take care, bye.